welcome back to the Science and podcast. Today I have with me Natra and Sharon from Roey Cultural Society, which is a brand new society this year. So I'll hand over to you guys. Do you want to introduce yourselves? Maybe if we start with Sharon?
My name is Sharon, like Orla said. I'm Vice President of the Cultural Society. I'm in second year of Biological Sciences. I'm from Ireland originally, but I'm also Nigerian. And yeah, just have to be a part of this. Thanks for involving me, Orla.
Yeah, it's no problem. And Natra?
Hi, my name is Natra. I'm president of the Cultural Society, the New BAME Society. I'm currently a master's student studying global business management. So I was brought up in London. My family are from Mauritius.
Nice. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for coming on. Yeah, no problem. So it's a brand new society. And where did the idea come about? Do you guys already know each other? Did you sort of see there was a need for this kind of society to be involved? I mean, what is society? What do you guys do?
Yeah, so basically, when I came to the university, I wanted to actually join a BAME society, but there wasn't one at the moment, during this year. I know that there was some last year, but I think obviously lack of engagement because of coronavirus and everything, they didn't run one. So I just thought, why not start one? You know, it's such an important society, especially now, I think, especially, you know, in the pandemic, not having that engagement with students is, you know, you need to have that within universities. So then I started it and I met Sharon through it, which is amazing. Obviously, this is what I wanted to do as well, as make friends and bring people together. And yeah, she's obviously been amazing on society, a really good vice president. But yeah, this is what I wanted to do, and also help empower race students, you know, make them, you know, grow confidence as well through the society. And we've started many initiatives. We've obviously got an event for IWD next Monday, and also we are doing Student of the Month. So every month we are showing a student's achievements, which is what we want to do as a society. So yeah, I'll hand over to Sharon.
Basically just like Natra said, it was the same for me. The same as Natra, I wasn't here last year. I was at a different university. And so when I was coming to Roehampton, I was just looking at all the different societies, and I wanted to join like one of the previous ones that they were running, like UBM. But I know because of coronavirus, there's not a lot of engagement for a lot of societies. So it was just kind of a bummer. And then I saw advertised that someone wanted to start a new BAME society, and then me and Natra just got in contact, and then I've just been working together ever since. I feel like the reason that a society like this is so important is because of the fact that you can have societies that are for one specific country, but one single society that promotes interaction of multiple countries didn't really exist in Roehampton. So it's really nice to have something like that. A lot of the time it may be your one culture isn't really highlighted or at the forefront a lot of the time. So it's just nice to have something like this where through the different events we have every week, and the Student of the Month, like Natra mentioned as well, you can really encourage and promote people to be confident in their cultural identity, because obviously that makes up so much of how you view yourself, how you view others. So yeah, just something like that is really important. So it's an opportunity for people to express their culture. So yeah, it's just been really good.
Yeah, and I think you guys have really good engagement, and you've managed to really kind of take it up and run with it. And I think that's quite difficult for societies to do, but I think it just goes to show that actually there really was a need for it, and you have really taken up society. I think you guys have had some great engagement. And yeah, it has been really good, and that's why I wanted to talk to you guys as well about this. So I suppose if there's anyone listening, I mean, you know, what can they expect from you guys? What kind of events have you put on? I know we touched on this a little bit, but yeah, I mean, what can they expect to gain, and why should people join?
It's just you can go.
I was just gonna say, I feel like it's like we said before, it's an opportunity to meet new people as well, which is so nice, especially in coronavirus time. So it's just nice to meet new people in that kind of way. But yeah, no, they can just expect to not just be involved I feel like a lot of societies you may just like go in and it's hard to not really interact with the people. You just kind of go watch what's going on and then like leave a little bit. But we really do like encourage people to get involved and stop opportunity for them to like talk and share more about their culture. So just like so far we've done events that are like multicultural. We're running like a multicultural food night this week. We're doing a guest panel discussion for International Women's Day. We've done like traditional like cultural arts and crafts and things like that as well in the past. So you can expect a lot of events that really promote the engagement of multiple cultures and not just like the sole focus on one culture. So people can really just learn about other countries and other cultures. And not sure if you have anything to add.
Yeah, no, basically kind of what Sharon said, but yeah, obviously Roehampton is a very international, there's so many different international students, it's very diverse. So this society brings people together, and it's not just international students. Obviously you have people like me who's brought up in London, but we want everyone to come together and be empowered. And yes, like Sharon said, we are doing events like IWD that is mainly used. It's mainly to like bring people together, and also employees, and provide opportunities for students, so to network. And we want to be that platform as well. And I think that's what makes us different as from other societies that may, like Sharon said, it's just there. It's we want people to be engaged, and we want students to be engaged, and we encourage that as much as possible, and also really want them to grow confidence, because that's key for everywhere you go in your career and your future.
Yeah, no.
Oh, sorry, go on.
No, it's okay, go on.
I was gonna say, just like to piggyback off of what Natra said again, like Roehampton is a really diverse university as well. So it is just nice to have like representation of a society like this. I feel like that's what makes it stand out, that like you can go to this society and feel represented and meet other people from your country as well, and be able to like share that like similar experience. So like something like that as well is just really like unique, that I don't know if a lot of societies might have. So yeah, just like things like that as well.
So I suppose in a way, like there is one element of this that I'm hearing, is that there's this sort of, correct me if I'm wrong, but perhaps a feeling of underrepresentation before. And do you think for you guys, are there any sort of personal factors or experiences or anything it's kind of like a motivating factor behind this to really make a change and to have people be represented?
Sorry, I was just going to say my personal reason behind this. Obviously the society is something that should be implemented in all universities, a BAME society, I mean, but the reason behind mine, I actually went to university. I was brought up in London, but I went to university outside of London. That it was a city that was very, very it wasn't very diverse at all. So I kind of felt that was very different for me. I had a different experience. I wasn't used to that experience. So I felt like that was, I kind of felt very out of place. And I didn't want that for my masters, and I also didn't want that for other students. So I felt that it was, we needed to create a society regardless of what's going on, especially now. I think, like I said, it's just so important during a pandemic where everyone's indoors and, not being able to interact, and it's just really important. So that was mainly my drive, but also it's just such an important society to have, like every single university. So I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, and I mean, what about you, Sharon? Because are you an international student, or are you here for the entire degree?
So yeah, like I said, I'm Irish, but I'm not an international student technically, because I was in London a year before I started university. But like it's definitely a similar experience to what Natra said as well, because growing up in Dublin actually, like particularly, I went to like an all-girl, predominantly white secondary school and like primary schools as well. So I understand what it's like to not, I don't know, like necessarily feel like the odd one out, but maybe that because you don't see like such a diversity in the amount of people you're interacting with, there are certain things you may not feel like confident in expressing about your culture. Like for example, I've had friends in the past who like if they like bring traditional food, they may get made fun of because of it, because it's so like unfamiliar to certain people, or like in the past in my secondary school where we've had like traditional days and I wear like traditional Nigerian clothes, it may seem a bit strange to other people. So I know what it's like to grow up in an environment where you may not see yourself represented in a lot of places you go to, or you're like the one Black person, or you're the one woman even as well. And it's just not a nice feeling. So like we just wanted to like establish the kind of environment where people can go in and feel like comfortable expressing themselves, and like again just like confident as well in like their identity, because it's just not it's a bit like restrictive having to grow up where you spend so much time having to like push back that part of your identity where it's such a big part of your identity. So it's like what's left if that's taken away from you, and like just pressure from things like having to like maybe code switch to fit in or just not express yourself. We just wanted to like ensure that this is the kind of environment where people are able to do that kind of thing as well. So yeah, just like that was my personal motivation as well.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna just kind of say what Sharon's saying in a different, it's very similar but obviously different experiences. Even that, like what you, it just really just resonated when you said about, you know, confidence and identity, because yeah, I did feel very out of place and just not like I couldn't really show him where I'm from and my culture, and it's not that it's just your identity, it's basically who you are. So I just felt like I couldn't be myself in a way fully. So I think that was, especially for 4 years actually, I was like doing my course, it's a long time to feel very, you know, not yourself. So it's very important for things like this to, you know, to create a space like this, especially in a very multicultural university.
Yeah, and I think what a lot of people don't realise about Roehampton is actually, I don't know the exact percentage, but over 50% of our students do come from BAME backgrounds, and we are 70% female. And sometimes there appears to be some sort of imbalance in those representations across the university. So it's important to have those recognised and to actually, you know, make that change and make sure people are being represented. And it can be difficult to do, to put yourself in that position to actually go ahead and make the change. I know you've talked about motivations and things like that. This is always a difficult question perhaps, but for some people it's there and some people it's not. Do you have any role models, like any people that you've looked up to and been like, that's what I want to do, or that's what I want to be like, or any people or moments in particular perhaps where it's just kind of pushed you forward? You're okay to think about that for a minute, because I know that
Yeah.
I
definitely have people that I look up to. I mean, it varies. So I mean, if you're talking about celebrities or just anyone in general, I do have a few, but I definitely have to think about them. I think more so now as well, I've been speaking to more people and just more people in their careers. I mean, there's a lot of people that do inspire me, but I'm not sure if anyone does know them. For example, Phil Walker, who is actually chair of the university. He's got a very inspiring story. He's someone that actually has really inspired me. There's several people at university, especially Marilyn. I don't know if you know Marilyn Holness. She is very inspirational as well. She's done so much in education. Yeah, so, and students as well. As I've grown older, people like students, people at the university have really inspired me, rather than celebrities and things like that, because it's more realistic in a way. So yeah, that's my perspective.
I think it's the same for me as well, where it's like it's kind of easier to be inspired by like people in your like circle that you kind of know or like are like in proximity to you than celebrities. But yeah, like similar, a lot of these people are like Irish, but Amanda Ade is like a youth activist in Ireland, or even like one of my friends like Asia. They're very outspoken about like things like racial diversity and racial inequality. And I find like, especially as a young person, you sometimes feel like, oh, like what difference is my one voice going to make, or how much of a difference is this one thing going to make? So to see people that are so young and also like in a similar position to you, and like they're in university, they're just like students and working and stuff, is very like motivational as well. And yeah, just like people like that who aren't afraid to take a risk to express themselves and like stand up for what they believe in terms of like racial equality. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such an important topic, and of course, everyone has such different experiences with it. I mean, everyone has their individual experience, and it can sometimes be difficult to make sure people are highlighted, but it's also important to bring it all together and actually, you know, work with what's there. Of course, this month it's Women in Mind. So I wanted to just highlight that a little bit. So Women in Mind is around women's mental health. You may or may not have any things that you may want to share. This isn't a you know, pour your heart out type thing. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. But I think a lot of the time societies in the university really help to improve people's mental health, and with the pandemic that of course has been really difficult. So you know, there have been setbacks. I don't suppose you have had a particular way that you've navigated that, or I mean, how has your experience of the pandemic been in general? Just, you know, how's it going?
I would say that, yeah, I mean, yeah, the pandemic has definitely affected a lot of things. But I would say coping with it. What I've done is I've actually spoken to Sharon about this, is doing plans for your everyday is so important. I think that just keeps you going and motivated, especially when you feel like you have so much. I used to get so much anxiety from having so many different things going on, and you know, managing so many different things. So I just, you know, a plan, prioritizing your hobbies as well is just very important, and getting some fresh air, and you know, obviously socializing as well is so important. Like, for example, I love baking, and so that I find that so therapeutic. It's actually, a lot of people connect baking with you know, being therapeutic in mental health, because it's just so, it's something that's so therapeutic. It's, you know, it takes a lot of time of the day, and by that is a break in itself. And if you do really like it, it's something you should do. So yeah, keeping hobbies and things like that, I think, is just so important. That's really just helped me manage everything, like studying, working, the society, but also being a part of the society is something that's actually really helped me. I definitely was like, you know, I mean, I knew there was no question of starting the society, but I also was a bit like, you know, people are saying the pandemic is just not going to be as effective. You know, there were a lot of people saying these things, but you know, I was like, no, we have to do this. But yeah, it can, you know, it's definitely helped me. Like, I've made friends, I've met so many people planning the events and everything. So, you know, it's been okay. It's been good.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah. Like for me as well, I think the pandemic's been hard for everybody. Like, I don't think there's one person who hasn't struggled at one point. Definitely in the beginning, just adjusting to not being able to see your friend, not being able to like leave your house and like have that liberty was very tough. And then obviously like going back to university as well, like brought its own struggles. I've actually been diagnosed with PTSD, and the university has been like really like supporting and like helpful in that as well. Just knowing that like there's support from the university is nice. It takes a bit of pressure off. And like Natra said as well, like having the society actually has been a big help as well. Because I feel like when you're stuck at home 24/7, it's so easy to forget that there's actually still a life that can be lived. So like it's nice to be able to like, you know, you have people to talk to like every 2 weeks on a Friday. Like there are people to talk to, or even just like the committee meetings and things like that really helps you to get out of your head. And like Natra as well, like with her baking, like I try and force myself to do my hobby. So like I'll go out, even if it's just like a 30-minute walk, or like talk to my friends or things like that. Like I feel like help with the days, and like, you know, like exercising like my faith as well, just like really motivated to get on with your day.
Yeah, like there are so many different ways that people have coped with the pandemic, and you know, suggestions of what people are doing, what other people can do. But it does sound like that actually having the cultural society really made a big difference to both of you, and I'm sure it's made a big difference to actually other people that you've had join. And that's it. Some people walk and doing all of these things, even that can be difficult. So just sitting on your phone or in front of your laptop, joining a call, whether that's mic off, camera off, to get started, it's really important to just have those platforms to go to. And I think it's been great. I think it has really made a difference. And as you know, the years go on, you will be able to build up this profile and have in-person events, and it will be really good. So it sounds like you guys have gained a lot from this. Yeah, I suppose, to be honest, I think, you know, that's really nice. And actually, I think we've managed to cover a lot of things in such a short amount of time. Would you have any words of advice for any students or maybe first years perhaps about anything really? What do you think people should know? Yeah,
I think one of the main things is 100% be kind to yourself. You know, that is really important. You can be your biggest, you know, sometimes you can just make yourself not feel confident, not, you know, feel like you're not being productive, but just be kind to yourself. This is a really hard situation. Obviously, it's not something that any of us thought we'd be going through, but especially at university and being students. So yeah, I think that's one of my biggest, you know, advice for students now.
Yeah, like definitely what Natra said, be kind to yourself. I feel like sometimes we can be our own worst enemy, and there are enough reason in the world for things to be bad. You may as well be good to yourself. And also just like to just go after the things that you want as well. Because like, again, sorry to talk about the society again, but like with starting up the society, something like that isn't something that I ever thought I would do, because like that's something that like initially I'd probably be like very anxious about, but it's something that I'm still interested in. And I feel like you owe it to yourself to go after the things that you want to do, regardless of if the fact that you're scared. And you know, if you're scared, do it scared. It's still something you want to do. And
yeah, no, don't be like worried to talk about it. That's what we're here to do. You know, we want to highlight you guys as individuals, but also the society itself and actually the benefit that it can have for people. So how can people join your society? Where can people find you guys on social media?
Yeah, social media is obviously like our biggest platform at the moment, but yeah, this SU page, you can become a member that way. But obviously just joining our events, we do have it every fortnight on a Friday. We have our next event this week. But yeah, you can just join on the SU page, or yeah, on Instagram, just send us a message if you're not really sure how to become a member.
yeah, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram. It's the same @name for both of them, Roey Cultural Society. And if you have any questions before joining, you can always like send us a DM on either of those two as well. And like we'd be happy to talk to you. Like we're more than happy to get to know anybody. And yeah, like Natra said, every second Friday we have events. We have events this Friday too. So we'd love to meet new people. We'd love for you to join.
Oh, nice. That's great, guys. And I will plug the link in the description as well for this.
Thank you.
So find out. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been really nice talking to you guys. And if there's nothing else that you want to add, then we can tie up this episode here.
Thanks for including us.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, this was actually so nice. So thank you so much for having us. It's so nice to do these podcasts. I feel like we should do this more often.
Yeah.
Oh, no worries. Okay, well, thank you for listening to this episode of the Digby Lions podcast, and we will see you next time.